wanna show you the true light. Light me up and make me feel alright. 'Cause baby, we are always shining bright. Take me home tonight. I just wanna show you the true light. Light me up and make me feel alright. 'Cause baby, we are always shining bright. So just live in the moment and enjoy it all. I'm right here, baby, if you want to call. Catch me and hold me and don't let me fall. Let yourself be free and break in the wall.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to 2024. How is it all going? As I verify that we actually are live, fully live. Outstanding. So, welcome, everyone, to 2024. This is the first live stream of the channel. Ignore if you saw any other previous live streams. They were not officially there. But today we're going to be looking at sort of a retrospective for my favorite RPGs of 2023, as well as some of my thoughts, goals, hopes for going into 2024. Originally, this was meant to be a edited video with jokes and content and whatever, and I had thought I hit record. And 2 hours later of me rambling into a camera, come to find out, nope, not a single second of anything I recorded had been done. So at that point I said, screw it, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. And what was originally going to be my top 5 RPGs of the year has kind of instead morphed to, these are just in general, no specific order, my favorite RPGs of the year, with the exception of the last one, which is my favorite for 2023. So we're going to be looking over those RPGs, seeing a little bit of what was the good, the bad, the ugly, and get to see a little bit about some options upcoming for the next year. Now, theoretically, there should be some sort of stream option on here, so let me verify that I actually do have the chat actually set up. Of that note, so apparently, due to changes in how YouTube works, there are now super chat functions to support the channel. I would say don't mess with the super chats. If you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But if you really want to support the channel, there is a link down below to the Call of Cthulhu Humble Bundle. Granted, we get a smaller cut through the Humble Bundle sale than if you were to support the channel directly, but I feel it's more value proposition to you because you're actually getting something in return for that money. The Call of Cthulhu Humble Bundle with the RPG, with the PDF books that come with it. You get a little something, and we just get a little cut of that. So I would say get something for yourself, and then if you find the channel of value, then the little kickback our way will not go unappreciated. So I want to thank you all for that as we get into my cheap-ass drum roll, the review for 2024, or excuse me, the 2023 RPGs of the year, which this video is not brought to you by Monster. For those of you who are caffeine addicts, you know exactly why I'm drinking this. Oh, just to be able to get through the day, man. So, I think at this point I'm going to have a second video up. Favorite RPG supplements and books, but this will be just the rules for today. Let me see if the camera now works. The camera, of course, then decides. You're supposed to work. Working earlier? What the hell? It's blue, so it's supposed to be on right now. Okay. Sorry, this was supposed to do a top-down view of the RPG I was reviewing, so I don't know why. Oh, wait a minute. This was why I think I'm on the wrong... I think I know what I did. Hang on just a second. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so now you can see the book. Okay, so the source got a little janky there, so... as we get the review. And so the first thing I want to highlight is the RuneQuest starter set for one of the RPGs that I got to play. This is sort of an honorable mention, more so than my top 5. Just because the RuneQuest, I hate it because it died. No, it's not that. I mean, this was by Greg Stafford, the book, and it's the same system that was used to power Call of Cthulhu. I think I prefer the Call of Cthulhu variation more so than the, from what I saw in the RuneQuest Role-Playing in Glorantha book. Just out of personal preference, I think, even though this is, what, the 7th or 8th edition, by the time you get to Call of Cthulhu, I think they had a little bit more experience, and even though it has the same basic percentile die chance, which it's very easy to calculate what your percentage chance is, because if you have a 90% chance of success, then that means all you have to do is roll 90 or under, and you succeed. Some of the things, how it deals with opposed checks and some other things, the skill system, because it's used, there's a lot of items that overlap in here just because of the setting driving the mechanics with this more than the rule, the game design feeling driving the skills the way it does in Call of Cthulhu, where there's less overlap because you don't need as much, you don't need cross issues. Like in here you have, for instance, the sacrifice skill, but then you have a slight variation because a god needs a different type of sacrifice requirement than the general sacrifice skill. And it's just like, that type of overcomplication. It's not as bad when you use a system such as Shadowrun 4th edition, where you can make the argument, okay, you just give the player knowledge check, and the player is then responsible for then doing, okay, this is all the esoteric subcategories of knowledge I actually possess, where they work with their game master, where you just have knowledge in the rules, and then the game master and player have to figure out how abstract they need to make it based upon what you're doing. This having that type of codified 3 or 4 skills overlapping with just sacrifice kind of like bogs down the rules. Personally, it does provide flavor, but it also, there's some other things that I remember not having as much issue with when I played Call of Cthulhu compared to RuneQuest. But RuneQuest is one of the old guard RPGs, and so it is an honorable mention. Did get to play the solo version of it this year, actually on a live stream, which was I solo play RuneQuest on the Livestream channel. But even though I don't think I enjoyed it enough to get the full rules for a $30, or if you get it on Amazon, it's like $25 entry set for a solo adventure. As a fan of the original Hercules, the Legendary Journeys, I can some nostalgia for that. I kind of enjoy the setting. I would definitely like to learn more about the Glorantha setting, especially with that what if scenario if the old gods weren't just petty and cruel, but actually were involved in daily life and magic, so humanity never really had to evolve out of that Greco-Roman period. And to me, it's kind of believable when you look at there's significant multicultural mixing from across the Mediterranean in here, but when you don't have to evolve the way that the world did and you stick to effectively the same technological, political, and theological groupings, that intermingling would get that sort of weird melting pot world, or at least I could see where you could get that logical formation of this weird amalgamation of all of the ancient empires that they teach in humanities that is presented here in the Glorantha setting. And it's with 40 years of literature and role-playing in it, there's plenty of material in here that even if you're not a fan of this system, if you're looking for a RPG world, granted one that you would have to modify heavily to fit a different RPG system, the Glorantha world setting does have a lot to give it, and it was nice learning what little I did about it in this system. When you look at the type of empire and daily life the way it is, I would definitely like to see it used in one of my RPG campaigns, or some of the ideas from it used when keeping with that ancient Greco-Roman theme. But this was an honorable mention for having played it this year, not necessarily one of my favorite, though. Let me see here. I should have probably staged this in proper order first, especially as I just realized that my Pendragon is under about 20 other books. That's impeding my ability to get access to it. Hang on. Grab that. Between Greg Stafford's, though, I just had in my hand RuneQuest and Pendragon starter set. This one is same price. If you buy it from them directly, you get the PDFs. Buy it on Amazon, you get it for about $25. Or at least, I take that back, because I bought this from directly. I don't think, when I bought this wasn't on Amazon yet. By now it probably is at a discount, but this was his magnum opus through the research I did, and I enjoy the Pendragon system. It uses a D20 for your skill check resolution, which was fun. So there's that familiarity with it. It uses D6 for damage calculation, so you're not going to need the full set of dice with this the way you would the other one. But in this adventure module, it's a very straightforward RPG. The major gimmick for it is how it handles alignment compared to D&D, which alignment is really just suggestions and really has kind of lost any relevant value, in my opinion, other than determining, because most players, like, you so randomly do it, behave whatever mechanically works best for them most of the time. They're not really going to be abiding by their alignment, plus the way that alignment is kind of fungible anyway because it's so stark in its explanation. With the Pendragon system, with its not Knight's Nerf versus Knave. Hang on, let me pull that up. With its even though it's called traits, it's effectively a Knights versus Knave system where you roll. Are you chaste or lustful, energetic, lazy, forgiving, vengeful, yada, yada, yada. These opposing alignment choices. And mechanically, it's simpler, personally, than RuneQuest. Its only difficulty is understanding and getting an intuitive handle on when you would need to force a trait roll. Because of the setting, the adventure module, the single-player adventure, does that for you, so you don't have to figure out what specific trait roll that you have to perform. But once you get over that hurdle, I think it would be a more enjoyable system, being able to play it with understanding that the characters are, when you make it, it's not just an abstract, oh, I'm chaotic good, and justify it 50 ways to Sunday. With this system, when you make the morality of your character, it has a heavy mechanical impact on the manner that your character behaves in-game. Where if you roll between and it does force you to abide by that personality mechanical process that you created. Oh, hey, hi, Crow. How are you doing? Yeah, so apparently my text is up there, so I can at least see comments on here, but we're going to be focusing, Crow, mainly on my favorite RPGs of this last year, so if you, this is the one that you want to bow out, don't feel bad. So we're going to be focusing on this tonight. This RPG was also played, by the way, on the live streams on the at Swamp Dog Livestreams channel. The manner that it forces you to abide by the certain morality that you chose is an interesting idea. Going back to the OSR philosophy, where alignment really doesn't exist except sort of your allegiance, the idea it being... yes, this will be leading into the RPG of the Year award. This first section isn't going to be structured in any particular way, but it's going to have some of my favorites. Though I guess because of how this stacked up, the ones that I'm covering first are my top 10, while the ones that'll become later will be the top 5. So it's because of the fact that I enjoy the fact that it actually gives the morality of your character that's mechanically impacted now through the rules. I'm still torn personally on the fact that now you have a mechanical railroading of the habits of your character. It's one thing when you look at... Oh, no, this isn't of the year awards, or at least my personal top of the year awards. This system is only held back because when you look at pen and paper RPGs, most of the time you're thinking of the freedom to not have to be forced into a scripted event. This system, I feel, would work great on a RPG morality system for the playing it, the forcing the scripted events. In that, I'm a little bit hesitant to necessarily recommend this, even though I enjoy that it gives morality a mechanical purpose, or alignment a mechanical purpose, because it railroads you now into forcing the player to follow that manner, or even worst case scenario, let's say you just have really bad luck, and using this example, that my character is generous, and so he goes around handing thousands of gold coins to all the orphans, but because of a dumb roll, a dumb moment, instead you become selfish, and your character instead steals the blanket from an orphan instead, even though you know that's nothing that your character would do. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic, but you see why I'm a little bit concerned with the trait system, that there could be abuse of it against the player and keeping them away from their intrinsic play. So that's why this would probably fit in my 5th place RPG for the year, just because it has that mechanical lock into the behaviors of the player. So this is number 5 for 2023. I think I did have more not just because I actually survived and became a Knight of the Round Table with Arthur in this module. I think mechanically I had more fun with this, and once getting over the initial hurdle of figuring out when to actually enact the morality system, the combat mechanics were more intuitive with this, understanding how the player's role is more intuitive in this. This just felt easier to explain and understand, and I can see why this was a later RPG by Greg Stafford, and I think from my research he viewed as his magnum opus, because having that added time, I think, solved some of the issues that RuneQuest suffers from being back in the age of RPGs being played only by the calculus lovers. So, and I think I forgot to actually put the dice back in with the RuneQuest, so I'll grab that in a second. While I'm putting this up, Crow, did you... now, you are mainly a video game RPG fan. If you had to select your favorite RPG to turn into a tabletop adventure for us to play, what adventure would... or what video game would that be? Here. We'll see if he's actually still here in a moment. So yeah, this was the honorable mention just because I got to play it this year. There we go. Now for my number 4 pick. This one is number 4 because I have not had the opportunity yet to play it with anybody. This is solely from a mechanical perspective that I enjoy this, so I haven't had a chance to actually verify that it would be that fun. That's why it's kind of takes a minor hit as far as its ranking goes. The Dark Eye RPG by... actually, who is the original author? Because the U.S. Publisher side is Ulysses Spiel. Oh, yeah, so it would have been Ulysses Spiel, and then the U.S. import side. So the Dark Eye system is another D20 system but unlike Dungeons and Dragons, this is what took over Germany. It uses D20. It's a roll under system, but for every action you have to take 3 of the 8 attributes, and you have to roll under enough of them or through a significant amount of degrees under them to actually succeed in the task. So unlike your D&D where you just roll once and that's it, and you know the math is in increments of 5, because now you have 3 attributes that you have to roll under to complete a task. it is more complicated, the math projection based upon the skill. This does have the setting built into the rule set. Personally, other than the magic, I think the rule set you can run pretty independent of the setting. There is some materials in here for character creation, like creating your birth year, of course, or birth month, and they go over all the history. You get a basic character up pretty well. You have a point buy system for the skills, so the more complicated a skill is, the more it costs to actually give your character that. So this system has a lot of mechanical familiarity if you've played D&D, but really cranks it up to 11 in terms of the mechanical. It is mechanically crunchier than 5e, but not so much that I would say it's a crunchy game. It's just one of those easy to learn, hard to master because of the hidden background complexity of it. I do think that the online character generator that is provided is probably more necessary with this than your standard RPG, just because of the point buy system. To have to rebalance that on the fly is going to be a little bit harder compared to a D&D character creation. It's also the same thing I would say with like Shadowrun 4.0. You really absolutely need the character creator, preferably from Hero. Well, I bought the Hero Lab one years ago, but any online character creator, because rebalancing a character in creation is kind of difficult without it. It can be done. It's just very time consuming and difficult to do, and the app takes away a lot of that on the fly. This, though, again, never got to play it, but having read through the rules, I think this would be a very high contender for my most favorite RPG, if only I could get a group together to actually play through it, work through the system, see it in action, the players go through it, and could confirm that. The other YouTube channel, who I've no affiliation with, or they don't even know I exist, How to Be a Great GM, or How to Be a Great DM, has a series of videos that were originally what inspired me to get this RPG, as well as links to the online character generator. I highly recommend giving his videos a watch, as when he goes into the Dark Eye system and how it plays, why it interested me, this D&D killer as far as Europe went. This is the digest size, which for $20 is pretty good value. Entry level, you have everything but the monsters and the GM's book in here. They do have a full-sized 8.5 by 11 that they sell stateside as well. That, though, I think I bought the collector's edition years ago. Like, I bought this well before COVID. I'm just trying to now remember what year it was before COVID. Like, when those videos came out of his is when I bought these, is how old that was. And I've got the GM's book, the monster manual, and everything. It does have some good support in Germany, plus the history of this RPG is also worth looking into. Apparently at one point with this, if you were a wizard character, you wanted to cast a spell, mechanically it was LARP-like in that you would have to recite the entire metamagical formula and all the hand gestures and whatnots in order to get it to cast. And if you goofed it up, the GM could say, nope, you fumbled the spell, and no spell for you, 2 years. But that's why this is my number 4, and is only not higher just because I haven't had a chance to play it. So while I get my number 3 choice, narrow it down to X-Men Legends, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, or Final Fantasy, possibly others. As far as X-Men versus Marvel, I know there's the Hero System RPG that allows you to very effectively do Marvel. Wasn't there, though, an X-Men Marvel RPG? Aren't they promoting that right now? At least in the game stores, I thought. I know I was convincing you the other day not the other day, but last year. Let's see here. And in-game, no cam. This is the one. Yep. So Marvel Metaverse Nexus. How old is this? Oh yeah, they actually do, Crow, have Marvel Metaverse role-playing game. The D616 system. Wow, isn't that the what do you call it? The actually Earth in our timeline in the Marvel RPG, but no, not Crisis Protocol. That's the war game. If you look here on Marvel's website, they actually do have the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, which is apparently available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target. So, guess what, Crow? They've you lucked out. They already have your dream RPG. And they even have the Cataclysm of Kang supplement for it. They even have official Marvel dice you can buy, apparently, for it. Oh, Metaverse. Yeah, normally isn't multiverse, but yeah, multiverse enter Hydra. No, it is multiverse. Okay. No, why was I saying metaverse then? Okay, but yeah, you're right. It's Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. I don't know. Maybe I've got Facebook on the brain. It's that subtle influence of that evil Zuck weeding his way into my mind that now I think everything is the metaverse. I'm like, no, be gone, foul metaverse demon. Be gone. Yeah, but I probably did. But it is the Marvel multiverse role-playing game. So they already have your Marvel side of it in an RPG that you can play. Did they have like this type of red Marvel 1d6 die, or did they have something special for Crisis Protocol? I just find it hilarious, the 616 system idea, just because the just because I find it hilarious that Earth. Where did I see Hydra? So they've got a rule set specifically for the X-Men expansion. Hi, welcome, Frank, to my insanity episode of Top RPGs of 2020, or my Top RPGs of 2023. How are you doing today? But yeah, we were taking just a side road for Crow's. If they could make his favorite RPG, apparently they do have already Marvel the Multiverse role-playing game to suffice his needs. I thought I just saw through here something with Hydra. Oh yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Oh, is this a free supplement? Oh, you even get a free adventure. I mean, everyone. Hail Hydra! Huh. Just, there we go. Sorry. as I'm looking at this reminds me of the Sword World 2.5 RPG out of Japan. I saw the fan translation. Looking at this system, I'm wondering if this is using similar to the Goblin Slayer RPG, which goes into Crow's other dream RPG of Final Fantasy. I don't know if it's Final Fantasy. I think you said 6. Um, Final Fantasy 10. They have a Final Fantasy generic RPG out where it's just the Final Fantasy setting, I think, in Japan. I don't think it's ever come over here, but add that to my collection for later. So that was a interesting one. So, Crow, your wish has already been granted. Let's see here. Hang on. There we go. So, yeah, I don't think it's stateside. It's Japan only, but I think they also have your Final Fantasy. But now on to my number 3 choice, which this one might be more controversial choice of RPGs. The Dames of Astoria. Which, by the way, I highly recommend you go see the interview with Dead Tree Studios. It was really fun talking with those guys on this channel. That review is in the main video section, and there is so much more content that I can't share because we did it offline, but it was really fun talking with them. Highly recommend if you go to a convention that they're at, you try to sit down and give a try for Dames of Astoria. Now, this RPG is, in full disclosure, centered on a very specific male/anime weeb demographic. And it wears its theme very strong on it. The core rulebook is everything that you need for the setting. To play the game. It does have its own setting. Despite the somewhat cheerful look of the artwork, the Dames of Astoria, the obvious, who's getting this book vibe from it, the internal setting is actually kind of dark. I think as written, it should have been lightened up a bit, or more evidence that they were going for a tongue-in-cheek setting, personally. But it's a fully developed world with including logic for how the monster girls exist, how the gods decided to come down and make their changes upon metakind. And it does have a fully fleshed out setting that could function in another RPG mechanic system. Some great Lamia artwork in here. Some great artwork in general. The Mother of Monsters, she did a great job with the art in this book. It does have 2 separate play systems. There is the adventuring and skill check mechanic system, and then, which is 2d6. It's been a while. I got to play this briefly after I did the review. The skill check system, which is let me go through here, get a quick reminder, because the combat system is D100. Yeah, the combat system, I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. It's a D100 system. A little has a little verbose, but not too bad. The regular system, I think, is just 2d6. Is it 1d6 or 2d6? It's percentile. Oh yeah, sorry, the d6 system. Yeah, so it's a d6. Okay, this was my confusion because yeah, we played the variant. So it's the D10 system with leveling tiers of success. So the higher you roll, the more tiered success you get. You also then have the combat system, which is a percentile system. My issue with the creation is it suffers from a similar mechanical issue that 5e does when in character creation. There's in 5e an correct way to build a character, and then there's everything else. The system is so mechanically focused on you creating a character the correct way. It really discourages like out there role playing, because if you want to have fun role playing, you do mechanically suffer quite significantly versus Pathfinder 2nd Edition by how they handle their ancestry system, how they handle the feats, how they handle the class advancement. It doesn't feel like I'm actively penalized for doing a non-optimized character. I mean, there's being optimized and there's being absolutely penalized, and that the way 5e does. This, if you don't optimize it, feels like you can like waste some potential. Feels like you must maximize your character, otherwise you're wasting their potential when character creation is done. I would have liked to have seen the Monster Girl generation system be closer to that of Shadowrun 4th Edition, where if you don't use up the character creation skill points or points, you can put it into something else, so that way you can make your character feel like what you wanted them to, but not feel like you're being actively penalized for it. It wears its theme very clearly. It's designed to be very tongue-in-cheek. If you're an anime fan, you're playing this adventure for the laughs, and you're playing a very tongue-in-cheek, you're not taking this seriously, anything that's happening here, adventure. It is not quite, I think Notepad Anon said this, and I think I repeated the same thing, that it's not a hidden gem, this RPG, because there are some structural issues with it that I think prevent it from being a best of RPG. But at the same time, because of those mechanical issues combined with the just over-the-top nature of the Monster Girl aesthetic, it combines for a fun adventure. I'm not saying, like, if your people are math super nerds that love optimizing character creation, whatnot, then probably not going to like this game. But if it's just you, a couple buddies, swinging a couple beers, and having a good time being like, let's play some off-the-wall B-movie madness, gonzo chicanery, this will get you some amazing stories just because it's so off-the-wall bizarre. The other issue I think I had, too, was just that the monster selection was kind of light in here. They do have some additional books for the setting that I really want to purchase sometime soon and get to actually see if they help expand on the lack of monster bestiary information here, that if they're able to really help expand the story forward. I know that they're coming up, that according to the Discord server, there were some fans that also had some issues with just the mechanical, let's throw the kitchen sink at everything and see what works approach, rather than a codified rule set that you expect out of like a RPG house like WotC or Paizo. But fun romp with a setting that doesn't take itself seriously. Get a couple beers in you. You'll have a fun time just for how off the wall crazy this is. You're not watching Shakespeare with this. You're watching the room is too harsh, because this is definitely better created than that. What would be an intermediate role? Okay, this isn't Shakespeare. This is the Toxic Avenger, the musical, I think is the best example. It's not going to be getting a Oscar award, but it's a really fun time just because you get to have it. So this is definitely the off-Broadway play here, and this puts it to my number 3 RPG for that, just because of the fun-ass time with it. I would love to get to play this with the guys at a convention and get drunk with them and have a really good time with it. So this is definitely my number 3 pick for RPG of 2023. And Dead Tree Studios, give them some love. It's a really indie group, friends that just came together, and I know as a critic, my job is to complain. That's what critics are paid to do. But they did something I didn't, which is actually come together and publish an RPG. And even though it's my job to poke holes at it, you got to respect them for coming up with a great book. They have a great fan base. I'm a little bit scared of trying their Fallout Equestria, but at least as far as games, which I got to try, a great time. And I need to figure out how to mysteriously Shanghai Crow into playing this game, I think. I'd like to try to get his girlfriend in here too, but I don't think that I would have even snowball's chance in hell of getting her to try one of these RPGs, let alone Dames of a Story on this list. Like, Crow, do you think we could actually get your girlfriend actually to play an RPG in here, you think? Now for my number 2 pick for RPG, while Crow is typing up his announcement for yeah, I could just see, no offense to Sarah, but her mother is the one that I would see during the satanic panic of RPGs, running around. Everyone who plays D&D is the devil. Begone, foul beast. I could just imagine the conniption fit. If anyone saw the video I did of Tombs of Annihilation, the Abomination Vaults, sorry, from Paizo, where we had the Demon Baby. Oh, everybody fear the Demon Baby. It's like, ugh. The Demon Baby janitor, no less. It's like, you got this creepy half baby, half insect demon dude licking your floors to clean them. I'm like, ugh. Like, even the evildoer, I'm like, why would you want to walk on a floor that this creep cleaned? Ah! Oh, ouch. That hurt. Well, good thing is she never watched this video either. I doubt she even has a YouTube channel. Ow. But yeah. This, though, going into Dune, is my number 2 pick for 2023, though. This one actually shocked me the most. Well, actually, you know what? I have the code from the other one that I got by mistake. As a free reward for anybody who actually watches this video, this is the code to the PDF copy of the Dune RPG. So, anybody wants to get a free copy of it, first come, first serve, of course. Here's your free code. We'll see how many people in the comments tried to redeem it and weren't able to get a hold of it. So, I have not redeemed this because I got the code off of the starter set. But we'll see how the comments below for the Dune RPG, how many wanted it. This one, though, shocked me the most out of any RPG system. One, I like Dune the movie. I even like the David Lynch one. I've seen a couple fan edits of the original one, too. I think the fan edits that fix a couple of the issues were better in terms of rebalancing the story. I mean, you got to do with what you had. The new one is extremely good, and I do highly recommend the new movie. I listened to an abridged version of Dune ages ago, like as a kid, on the cassette tapes, abridged version of Dune. I forget by which house, though. So I have a little bit of an understanding, but I doubt I probably have even as much as the movies have, like, influenced my life. I really do need to read the original Dune book. I have it on my shelf in the audiobook from Audible. I really need to do that sometime. I'm assuming from Final Fantasy, but the so I know the movie influences my perception of the book, and I need to really read the book, considering how much of science fiction was impacted by Dune. I ended up reading, I don't know if it's just because that's when they came out, the precursor books by Frank Herbert's son with his ghostwriter, whoever he hired to work with him to create it based off of Herbert's notes. The precursor with that led into the Butlerian Jihad, those I've actually all read. I don't know if it was just because at that time they were the newest ones. The Pachika is from Final Fantasy. If these were just, that was when they were coming out, and therefore, because I remember a couple of them are read physically, a few others were CD. I remember having the precursor Dune books. Those were my entry to the universe in the precursor session. So I remember more vividly the machines, the Butlerian Jihad, and everything that went into the precursor that led up to the modern Imperium that, of course, is the backdrop for the Dune setting. The mechanics of this RPG, though, were much lighter than I expected. The 2d20 system that Modiphius uses, this is not technically my first RPG. I had some credits from a Kickstarter that I actually bought the Homeworld RPG rules first. The Homeworld RPG first, but never opened it, never played it. Then with this was on sale, I can't remember when, and I ended up getting my hands on it for a Black Friday. The 2d20 system is much more abstract than I normally prefer playing. To me, prior to the honorable mention here, the Corpse Kings RPG, with its simpler skill system mechanics, I do highly recommend the review I published on Corpse Kings, even though there were some segments I rambled in it. That, to me, is the type of RPG I'm looking for, a simple rule set. That or another one such as Mothership I enjoy. And that tends to be what I prefer at the minimum of my simple RPG settings. This abstracts things even further to a degree I would normally, in my experience, not enjoy playing. There's parts of this that remind me of Monty Cook's Numenera system. Though I love the setting, I absolutely hate the cipher system. I just don't like cipher system for whatever reason. It is much simpler than I would normally like to play, but for the setting, Dune, it surprisingly, I think it works well. Now, the 2d20 system predates the Dune RPG. It's their in-house RPG system. And so I know there's going to be, or assume I should say, there's some going to be mechanical changes made to help adapt to the Dune setting, such as like the dueling system in here for combat, because there's a dueling focus in Dune that really isn't going to exist in a lot of other settings. But because Dune is primarily a political thriller, like, there is, of course, combat in it. I mean, you do have the coup against Atreides. You then have the counter, well, not really counter coup, but the revolution then against the Emperor and Assadakar. But its main focus on political storytelling, the simplified abstract rules system of the 2d20, I think really helps amplify that desire to engage in that political espionage, where there's just enough mechanics to facilitate, okay, we have a combat situation, we have a conflict that needs to be resolved, that we need some sort of fair arbitrator, aka the rules, to actually figure out what is the outcome of the scenario. I feel this is a narrative game first, because of the history of Dune, with RPG light mechanics put on top of it. So this, I feel, is almost the reverse direction of what I am used to with light RPGs. Like, I have historically not enjoyed narrative-focused RPGs. I just have not liked them. That joint storytelling system works if you're brainstorming for a novel. I don't feel it works particularly well for an RPG setting, or handling an RPG system. And there's parts of this because of how abstract things get. The combat system, for instance, you're not measuring actual distances. It's zones of combat control. An example, somebody on YouTube I watch, so this is burned into my brain, their example. They do, what would be a zone of control example that isn't buried under something else? The zone of control system for the combat, where, let's say, let's pull up a image here in this book that we would use to highlight how zone of control works. Okay, so in this city setting, for instance, zone of control, you might have on this rooftop. This would be one zone of control that you would have. Maybe the rooftop is broken up into 2 or 3 different sections. And so while engaging in combat, because again, Dune is focused more on that melee style because of the technology versus range combat, it's going to handle more fluid, interactive design in that zone of control rather than discrete or definitive ranges that you would get in most other RPGs I play. And because of the dueling system, how it works, was very difficult at first to wrap my mind around how that system works. But after, it's not as intuitively explainable personally, especially on the dueling side. But once you get through the issues with just how abstract everything is, and you get a handle of just because of that abstraction, it then becomes a very playable system with a narrative focused play. This is not what I'd be using if I was doing authentic hard military sci-fi at all. No. This system, I'm scared to see how it would work, I think, in the homeworld setting. For Dune, I think it works well because the setting facilitates that need for abstract combat and conflict resolution, because it's forcing the players to engage in more story-driven elements, because that's the political drama that it's based on. And so it's a favorite of mine because it works so well for the Dune setting that it forces the players to behave more Dune-like than Dune when there was the Fan D20 supplement, which of course is going to drive your players to engage in more traditional looting and combat situations. This RPG system forces you to behold to the Dune setting and works in a way that I'm not sure any other setting it would. I've seen a couple other attempts at an RPG for Dune. I'm not sure if they would necessarily have worked, but here it does well, and I got to congratulate them for it. And this was my number 2 pick for 2023, just because of the quality of it, and they are continuing to publish books in it. The starting adventure has a PDF copy of the full rules plus an introductory adventure. That's pretty good, and they've just produced some more documentation or another material on the Landsrad, so you can take your RPG playing into the broader Imperium now, so not just focused on the planet Arrakis. And I hope that they're working with the estate to get some of that behind-the-scenes material into the RPG, and looks like an interesting option to go forward. I'd definitely keep my eye on it if you're a Dune fan. Yeah, and this is my second pick for RPG of 2023 that I have played. Or, well, pick for my favorite RPG of the year. Like, in the case of both Dark Eye, I did not play. And, unfortunately, neither did I play Castles and Crusades. But this one, I believe, is my number 1 pick for 2023. The Castles and Crusades game engine. The reason for it is, even though my first RPG was top secret, when I got into college playing, and then as the dungeon master in the barracks in the Marine Corps, the 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition RPGs were my big foray into RPG gaming. They were who I played with everyone. We played all the 3.5 RPGs. We enjoyed it. That's how I cut my teeth as a game master and got everybody interested into it, was on the 3.5. As years have changed, I've realized that there's some mechanical issues with just how complicated 3.5 is, though I loved the math that went behind it. So as I was discovering OSR, which is the idea that let's take the original ideas that Gygax wanted D&D to behave by, and let's figure out how we would implement that today for today's audience. I think the OSR versions of D&D are superior to what we're getting out of WotC nowadays. But out of the OSR versions, which ones play closer to that original envisionment of what Gygax was going for? I think Castles and Crusades is my favorite, or I don't think, it is my favorite implementation of it. One reason why one of the older attempts at it using the OGL, its math is very heavily based on the 3X version of D&D, so even though it's OSR, it still behaves in a manner that I am most familiar with. So that's one of the reasons why I gravitate to this system. But it simplifies things. It has, instead of rolling resistance or fatigue check or the like, you instead roll, okay, is it a dex save, a strength save, and the like? This came out with that idea before 5th edition did. This, how it handles non-combat skill mechanic checks, is much faster and easier to work through. Do you pick one of your attributes, or excuse me, 2 of your attributes? Those are primary that you get a bonus on, and you need to perform a skill. Okay, would this be a skill that is primarily what your character would know? Okay, get a target number, roll it up, and even though on paper it looks kind of complicated with the table, once you play it for 10 seconds, you realize just how intuitive it is for the game master to come up with a target number and just go, okay, roll under 14. Okay, roll under 15, roll under 25. Or excuse me, not roll under, roll over 15, 25, whatever. The game master can just spit out a number very intuitively for the players. The players roll, move on with the story. They're not bogged down with the mechanics of trying to figure out what is the target number, because you have to go through this Venn diagram and these chapters and then quote rule X34B out of supplement 29703 of the D&D penal code. And it just gets very complicated very quickly to determine what the actual role is under 3.5. This just gives the game master such a fast, easy way to go, hey, let's take the good parts of D&D 3.5 or 3rd edition. Let's keep going with them, keep for the combat, the character selection process, the options available, but just move it along so we're not stuck in, I think, what was a quote for 3rd edition? It was like 30 minutes of fun and 2 hours of math. This one just intuitively get the game master, okay, you roll this, roll this, roll this, roll this, move it on, and getting to keep the players engaged, and but with that 3rd edition math, which I prefer. The calculations, the valuations, the understanding how the math relationships with each other from 3rd edition were more intuitive to me compared to 5th edition, so I enjoy this out of all the OSR products. I mean, it doesn't hurt the fact that Gygax also contributed some works for Castles and Crusades that after he got tossed out of TSR, that he was able to continue and do his last RPGs with Castles and Crusades. I'm pretty sure, too, from looking online, though I haven't been able to find a reliable source that I can definitively go, this is absolutely what he said. It seems to be very commonly believed that Gygax came out and said that Castles and Crusades continued on D&D the initial intent he had for the game. And now that Troll Lord Games published Castle Zygig, bought that. They also just did a huge Kickstarter for The Hermit. And now that they have the rights to publish the books, especially now that the judge of the estate seems to be, hopefully will have money signs in his eyes and go like, hey, give Troll Lord Games the ability to print all this stuff. Troll Lord Games makes money, the estate makes money, the estate gets out of bankruptcy, everybody's happy. I hope they continue on publishing the last of Gygax's works, and I really look forward to seeing what comes next. And so that also is a great pivot point for being my favorite RPG to also being what I hope for most out of this next year. I've got Castle Zygig. I need to review that for this channel. The Hermit, need to review that when it comes out. Can't wait to buy that and review that. The rest of Gygax's books, hopefully they, from what it sounds like, the probably need a little bit more work first, so we might have the Kickstarters, but I doubt there'll be a release this year. But with Castles and Crusades, the book, it's my favorite way to play D&D style or OGL engine games, and look forward to that and seeing the new game systems that go forward. I also have to say I like the art a lot too. Just this modernized throwback to the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons cover, I think is amazing, and it just really goes for that OSR feeling. It's like, hey, this is a modern throwback. We know that we're not doing the original simple art. We know that we can't recreate the mindset, but let's take what was actually the intent behind this and actually clean it up for modern players so that we can enjoy it in the new way and go forward with it. And I really enjoy that. So this is my favorite RPG of 2023. Hopefully my favorite of 2024, as I get to use it to play Zygig, the Hobbit, and the like. Or not the Hobbit, the Hermit. Why do we keep going? I got Tolkien on the brain, man. I need more caffeine. But in the interim, while I consume some caffeine, what is everybody else's take on their most exciting RPG of 2024 or game of 2024 that they're looking forward to? Ugh, this is almost acidic. Like, this is where I secretly test if Crow is still watching. What's your, like, RPG or video game for 2024 that you're looking forward to? Which, speaking of looking to 2024, I should also add the channel updates, too. So, as far as the channel goes, I do have at Swamp Dog Livestreams, which is where most live stream content will be published. The reason being because of doing some research about back-end chicanery with YouTube and the like with live streams and how their videos impact. I don't trust YouTube saying that there's no impact for bad live streaming. I'm putting live streaming elsewhere. The live streaming channel, right now I'm finishing up some RPGs, video games. When I'm doing, I need to figure out how to codify this better. So for RPG live stream content that is book based, which is what this channel is based on, will be kept here on the main channel. Random RPG BS will be kept on the at Swamp Dog Livestreams channel. This is the RPG channel, the main channel, which will stay in place. There's also at Swamp Dog Shorts, where I do have 3 short videos up that were originally published on this channel. Again, because of chicanery with YouTube and shorts and different audience bases, shorts are siloed into their own channel by themselves so that they don't disrupt you all. There will be some shorts that go up there once I get some free time to actually film some content. I'm looking forward to a paycheck any week now, and then can get some free time set away to actually do some shorts stuff. There we go. I also have at Swamp Dog Clips, which will be just clips of funny stuff. I'm not sure if will be under traditional video or shorts or whatever, but it'll just be highlights of just random crap from wherever. So if it just happens to be a random crap of me making a funny joke, or at least a joke that I think is funny, because apparently Crow says I have no sense of humor, there'll be just clips of it on the Clips channel, which will be there for just random ha-has and funnies and chicaneries. So if I do a repeat, like my maybe post a picture of my bad bowling score. I got invited to a bowling event, and let me see, what was my score? Like, what is it? A perfect game is 300. I was worried at one point if I was going to be able to even bowl my age. I'm like, not that old, which made it even more worrisome. Just how bad it was. Oh, yeah. 49 was my final. Or, no, that was the second to last frame. Or next to last frame, yeah. Okay, so I think I finished with like 55 that first round of bowling. So in comparison to who I was bowling with, we had the first guy with a 109, the next guy with a 141, the guy after that, who's the semi-pro in the group, was a 166 in bowling. Got 3 strikes in a row, man. And then my measly 55 in comparison. Anyone think I can become a pro bowler at this point? Oh, it was bad. As I said, yeah, it wasn't until frame 8 that I actually bowled my age and was like, oh, this is bad. Thankfully, the night, I don't know what it was, but the next round, I wish I took a picture of the scorecard. Much better recovery. I think I bowled like a 115, 120. But, yeah, so no expert bowler here. Yeah, I'm not betting on myself for a bowling match. Where was I going with this for 2024? I know you've got the comment saying that you want to paint your own stuff rather than slaving away from others. See, you should stop promising commissions for people. Just wait. You should tell them to get AI to paint their minis for them instead, Crow. He's an artist too, so he probably really hates me for mentioning AI art. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. So, a couple things that I wanted to look forward to. The Hermit, the Gygax stuff. I know I want to do that. Trying to get a more scheduled release system for this channel in place for next year. Just because I work some ungodly hours, because I love my job. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love what I do. I love doing what I do. It's great. Just the hours worked are insane. At this stage of my career, it's like 70 hours a week. And it just gets so long. And like even tomorrow night when I'm hanging out with, going to hang out with my father to watch a legal podcast, I'm going to have my computer up actually doing work in the middle of that because I just got to get this stuff done. So, well, that's your fault for having a girlfriend, says the guy that'll secretly like you, lucky bastard. But yeah, so that's my future for that. Getting back, though, to RPGs, though, for the channel. One of the RPGs that I want to review in the coming year is Red Markets. This one I played... Man, When was that? Again, before COVID. I think... Yeah, I would have still worked for the utility at this point. So... This would be prior to 2018. I want to say, though, 2016 for some reason. Either way, when did this come out? Like, if this came out after 2016, then that's a non-starter, but... First, okay. Yep, so wrong on that front. It was definitely not 2016 I played it, because this came out in 2017, the first printing. So, wow, COVID has really messed up my ability to tell time accurately, because just with those 2 years gone, just screwed up everything. So, it must have been like right after it came out of Kickstarter. Yeah. I do like the fact that it's a full RPG that this comes under a Creative Commons non-commercial share-alike license, so that you as a fan can create content for here very easily. I know the gentleman who created the OGL had some concerns with Creative Commons, and I do sympathize. There are some issues with Creative Commons for what he was trying to accomplish, but because of just the lack of trustworthiness in WotC, I think the only way you can trust a license anymore is Creative Commons. Just the license that they don't own. Thankfully, some of the other companies are getting that hint, too, that they need to create a license that they don't own with that work thing. But reviewing this will be upcoming, which is kind of hilarious. I think my initial opinion on this is if you let an accountant, which is what I went to college for, design an RPG, this would be the result. The accountant theme in here, and the guy actually who wrote this setting material does actually have a pretty good understanding of the economy in here, actually, which is surprising to me. So whoever did this had a financial background, personally, because they get a lot of things that most people just don't understand about the markets. There's also the fact that this older play style reminds me a lot of early war games, such as the Babylon 5 war game, or the Star Trek Starships war game by FASA back in the day. Of course, modernized, but just the hit tracker here makes me think that this person also had some classic old school 80s and 90s RPG experience as well. Great setting those zombies. The idea is you are part of the carrion economy. Like, Crow will get this reference. If you watch the... What was that show that we watched with Metal Something with Sweet Tooth? Not Metal Gear. Not Metal Saga. Now, there's an RPG I'd like to see. Either Metal Max or Metal Saga put into an RPG form. That's actually what I've got my own pet project on. I'm using the OpenD6, I think, to want to work on creating an RPG set in that type of gonzo post-apocalyptic universe. So I'll get into that. That's also another RPG material that I want to go into later. But what was that show that we were watching with the guy that plays the No, not Patriot. Falcon from the Marvel movies. That metal thing. Well, Crow's reminding me what the show was we watched. You were sort of like outside society as you're trying to like scrunge up enough stuff to get a nest egg and sell it back to the city state, which is turned into a totalitarian hellscape similar to what we lived under COVID. Anthony Mackie, he's the one who played Falcon. I'm talking about the show he was in with Sweet Tooth, with Samoa Joe. Twisted Metal, thank you. The idea being that you have these sort of like totalitarian city-states is all that's left of humanity that people live in. The rest of the world has been taken over by zombies, and you're trying to buy your way into one of these safe havens to retire. It has a very nice, sadly, a precursor to like the sort of hellscape that they wanted to implement with COVID, with like, oh, let's have quarantine camps and the like. That never went badly. That sort of style adventure, and sadly realistic zombie setting where you still have some semblance of society remaining, but your job is characters trying to survive the wasteland. I remember having a lot of fun. I remember this being a decently designed RPG when this came out, and this was going to be one of the books that are definitely be reviewing for 2024 and hopefully getting to play a game of economic horror. And there's nothing more horrible than seeing that downward trend. Another one, this I happened to get as a Christmas gift, the Star Wars introductory game. So this one is looks like the original West End Games D6 Star Wars game, but their introductory box. So it's hard to see on camera, but the shrink wrap it feels old enough. It has just enough of that off-color tinge to it that you know it's not fresh and new. Loose enough, a few tears in the right places. And the box under the cellophane is pretty good with only a little bit of wear around corners. I think this is a legitimate original introductory adventure for Star Wars, and so this one I want to play. When it came out, I had the Fantasy Flight D6 reprint of Star Wars, and both that and this original game I want to play. This was what kept Star Wars alive, realistically, between the original movie trilogy and then the prequel trilogies coming out, because then the material that came out for this, plus the deep connection with the writers, with Timothy Zahn doing Heir to the Empire and the RPG tie-in for it. Sadly, it's an era that won't repeat, because it was an era where West End Games was doing a lot to really shape the Star Wars universe for fans, before then Lucas had the issue with, hey, our license expired, we want to move on, but we don't actually own all of these adventures that were created for the Star Wars adventure, so now we're stuck with having to retcon all of this fantastic material that was for the RPG that they didn't move forward with, which is a shame, because there's a lot of great material that was for the RPG setting that they worked directly with the authors within the interim years, and so I can't wait to review the original D6. Plus, the D6 engine itself was a huge boon for RPGs during that period. Yay, I'm getting spam email showing up on my stream. Great. Just what I need. Spam email. what was I going to say? The D6 engine powered this. It powered the Indiana Jones adventure, and no, despite what people think, no, LucasArts and West End Games did not try to trademark Nazi. That was just someone not paying attention in the typesetting office doing something stupid. In a way, though, it would have been hilarious. Like, all these neo a-hole groups. Like, imagine if then you could go after them for copyright concerns. That would actually be kind of fun. Just be like, hey, that'd probably destroy them faster than anything else. Be like, yep, every time you decide to host an event of all you a-holes together, let's tax your ass for it. But in fact, the D6 engine was then later released under OpenD6 to Purgatory Press, that holds the license for the original D6 engine on this. From my understanding, and one of the things that I'm looking to do is now, because I like the idea of an open game engine, and the OpenD6 engine that was used to power this was released under the OGL. So I wanted to, for my own RPG for this channel, make a OGL compatible RPG. Now, of course, then I'd start doing that as soon as the writing an RPG as soon as the pandemic hit, and then frickin' WotC decided to play games with the OGL license and create a whole shebang and problems and issues with it. And so never finished with it because it was originally going to be a D&D heartbreaker, but now I wanted to have a OGL game because I believe in the values and the license of the OGL, but wanted to make sure it was an engine that WotC would have zero recourse to go after because it was not one that they controlled. So for my own RPG, I got the online SRD for the D6 engine. I'm working on my own custom setting system with that currently, which this year also is to do a reveal of my own personal RPG using the D6 engine. It also, by the way, for Crow, who is also a Hercules the Legendary Heroes fan, the Hercules RPG was powered with the same engine that was used for Star Wars. They did change it a little bit, though, so instead of counting all successes being it being just a pool, so you roll 2d6, you get 3 on one, 4 on the other, you get 7 points. The Hercules engine instead did 4 up on the die face, so if you rolled 3 on one, 4 on the other, then you had 1 success. So they did fiddle with the target number a bit. Okay, what did I say this time? But either way, it's basically the same engine, just they messed with how target numbers functioned with the Legendary Journeys version to Star Wars. But this is another RPG that I want to review for the next year, is definitely Star Wars upcoming. Then also because the pandemic impact of then really needing to discover solo RPG play, I also have got Mythic, the Game Master emulator. This is a whole system designed for solo playing your favorite adventure, so this is system agnostic and is supposed to be able to present that Game Master emulator for you to play your adventures with. We'll see how this works. Try to set up an initial live stream with this being played. So this will be another RPG engine to play. Because looking at a lot of the solo play RPGs, you have some options like D100 Dungeon, which are nice, but really it's not agnostic. You play D100 Dungeon. You play tried the Humble Bundle that had some solo play RPG rules in it. Wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of it. Mythic is supposed to, though, be entirely system agnostic, so that you're not locked into your version of rules that, as the emulator, only functions for your game. So this does abstract some things in a way that another engine, a solo RPG engine, wouldn't, but allows you to play practically everything with just one book. This is actually the second edition. It, from what I understand / remember, I think it effectively triples the amount of rules for playing any RPG without a Game Master solo compared to the first edition of this. So we got all of that. I do know I want to... Hang on. 1 second. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. And everything goes falling down. Just like London Bridge. Actually, on the flip side of that, I actually got a review thing that just... a list of to-do stuff that I got to do, actually. Oh, another thing that I want to start doing for the new year is going back to one of the original ideas of actually doing some board game reviews. Like, I have Return to Dark Tower that I wanted to review on this channel. Yeah, I never posted the Hero Quest videos to this channel, so no one here will get the Not the Mama reference that Crow keeps putting up in the chat. So I need to do something with that, putting that on here, or maybe an exclusive to Facebook, because to anyone who watches this channel and has also been upset with me that I don't do anything on Facebook, I'm sorry. I work my ass off each week, and I don't mess with Facebook except through the corporate marketing app that I'm required to use for market purposes. And so when I, like, once in a blue moon log in under my own ID and go looking at and see that apparently 50 people I've got notifications all looked at Swamp Dog Games, and I'm like, oops, I'm sorry for not providing content for you guys. I need to remedy that. But also reviewing some adventures, like got some classics, especially with this being an election year. This one I feel like I absolutely have to review. This is for Shadowrun. Why do you hate me? This is for Shadowrun. This is a in-universe election RPG campaign setting. And I found this, and I got some money for Christmas. I was like, I absolutely have to purchase this. I don't have a choice. The Super Tuesday, 5 Shadowrun adventures set during the United Canadian and American States election of 2057. And I'm like, considering what 2024 is going to be, this has to be reviewed this year. And I cannot wait. Like, even going through here, what finally sold it on me when I hit this, the UCAS Board of Elections proxy vote ballot thing here that they had. I just laughed my ass off in the store. That this is still here. This is definitely... No, I saw it. I was just ignoring you. So back in the days for marketing, they didn't have email distribution list. So to get your name so they knew to market to you, they'd put these little postcards that you would send back to the company to be like, hey, I want to be marketed to, I want to be informed when new stuff becomes available. And just the idea that this card, they went even implemented it into the RPG fantasy by having a absentee ballot where you just mark off your candidate. Ballots must be in by August 1st, 1996 to be eligible for prizes. I guess they also had some prize in this. Oh, so I guess there were some prizes attached to it too, based off of the candidates. It's just that even this was brought into the gimmick, and so this adventure, I was like, I absolutely have to purchase it. I absolutely have to review it. Well, I'll get more when it comes Super Tuesday, like the when we view this. So this is from the old FASA range, and so I cannot wait to review this adventure. I got to read it first, but I've got a couple other Shadowrun adventures. I love old school Shadowrun, especially when you look at their interpretation of how computers worked back in the day before we actually realized how computers actually function. So reviewing more adventure modules is also high on my list. So not just the rules, which I've been doing, but the actual adventures to play with said rules. Will also be doing more of those soon as well. So that's for this coming year. I would like to stop doing as many Humble Bundles because reviews, sadly though, I think from a value to the channel, those I think from view count as well as the people that take advantage of those are the best for the channel, unfortunately, which I would like to do more content reviews, but just because of timing, it's difficult to come up with the free time to do a review these days. That's why I'm actually doing this live stream rather than curated content like I would normally do. I do want to remind everybody, though, if you are watching this video and would like to support the channel did get authorized for super chats. I'd say don't mess with that. There's a good Humble Bundle right now with Call of Cthulhu that they have multiple books. Let me pull that up, actually. Oops. So we'll pull that up, actually, what's in the Humble Bundle. That way you actually get something for yourself. So they have the Call of Cthulhu Humble Bundle, 25 books that include the core rule book, a bunch of adventures and stuff. You can get this for as little as $25. The channel, if you want to also get a slight cut of this, I would say get something that gets you value, which is some RPG material. And if you want to support the channel, then please do so through our link in the description down below. This way you can get some value for yourself and support the channel. I'm not a fan of super chats just because then it's, oh, you pay money to the channel and just so I say hi to your chat. This way you get some actual value for yourself, and I think is going to be the best way to support the channel because I like providing value. I'm not going to turn you down if you want to. I am not in a position where I can say easily, like, please never give me money, but I would like to feel better about you actually getting value out of spending your money on something. So spend it on something, you get something, and then we get a kickback rather than just spend it all on chats to YouTube, especially when the YouTube is as evil as it is and takes 30% of whatever you And sorry, just my father sent me an article about an upcoming lawsuit that's interesting. Huh. Oh, well. So, apparently, an interesting lawsuit. USAA accused of favoring military officers over enlistees. And it just got certified as a class action case. Nice. I may be able to sue my insurance company. Great. Hey, might as well start drinking game. So, Humble Bundle, my friends. That's our drinking game approach. But there'll be more live streams as well. Again, live streams not necessarily RPG tabletop focused, but currently RPG gaming focused are on the... Well, that's your own fault for not drinking. Are on at Swamp Dog live streams. That will be going back to usually should be weekly. Right now, finishing up Pillars of Eternity. Then I want to finish up Dragon's Dogma on that channel, and then probably go back to something else. That one, admittedly, has been more video game RPG focused, which is why it's been separated from this channel. If I do more RPG focused live streams, tabletop, board game, whatever, that will be physically located, not physically, but you know what I mean, on this channel going forward into the new year. So we'll see a couple live streams. But most of them will be on the live stream channel. Again, there's at Swamp Dog Shorts, which will have short videos that go up because YouTube loves shorts. I'm even wearing shorts right now. I'm not a fan of shorts. We have Swamp Dog Clips, which will have just random bits that I think are funny on there from various sources, whether or not it's from any of these channels or just random other things that I'm part of, just to try to generate views on there. Live streams, shorts, clips. Yeah, I think that's everything. So Facebook, I need to get back to updating that. Twitter, there is at swamp_dog_games on Twitter. That one I'm a little bit more active on, just following people there. I do have a locals account, swampdoggames.locals.com. I have not updated that in forever. I really should be putting more content over there, but I've just focused more on Twitter because it's just looking around on Twitter, X, or whatever the hell you want to call it these days, just being able to follow around with others has caused me to spend more time on X rather than posting on Locals, which was supposed to host the ad-free version so that you wouldn't have to sit through YouTube ads. Maybe with this new Twitter subscription thing, maybe I'll start uploading them to Twitter instead. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing on that front with Twitter going forward. It's just I spend, even though I spend hardly any time on social media for personal use, if I do spend any of like 10 minutes a week, it's going to be on Twitter compared to anything else, just because it's more entertaining since Musk bought it. Like, I absolutely hated Twitter before he bought it and turned it into X. I got no opinions on him doing it. I'm like, whatever, dude. But it, compared to like what everybody used to complain Twitter used to be, and now just the random chicanery on it, it's actually pretty fun personally. And so I actually like new Twitter. I don't think I could stand Twitter if it was under any other management right now, just because what just happens is just hilariously fun now. Just me, but I know I'm probably on the minority of enjoying the new Twitter, but following Musk doing stupid shit and just hanging around with other RPG fans is also fun. In fact, it is practical though, because that's how I met Wade at Looking Glass, not Looking Glass Games. Maybe it was for Corpse Kings was through there. Same thing with the guys at Dead Tree Studios, and was offered free copies of their stuff. So yeah, I look forward to trying to connect with others. Oh, plus, though it was not a RPG rule set. Hang on. I also have the so you want to be a dungeon or game master that I need to review as well. I do also have the exclusive version of Kavlov's Sanctuary, because I keep on sticking an R in there for some reason. This is the horror Morkborg. This is the horror adventure. This is the OSE version of the rules versus the Morkborg version that I reviewed earlier this year with an interview with Hexpress and the Dungeon Key, which is worthwhile. Please check it out. This won't be reviewing it because the story hasn't changed much, but got a copy of my back copy, so was really excited to get my hands on this and look forward to playing the horror adventure with the tapeworm familiar. Anyone remembers that gag that I abused? Courtesy of Twitter, by the way, that GIF. I have no clue where that GIF came from that review, but oh my god, it fit. I came across my desk exactly as I was reviewing Kavlov's Sanctuary. It was like, that is the tapeworm familiar in a heartbeat. So that was fun. But yeah. So that has been tonight's live stream of my choices for RPG of the year, which, of course, this isn't RPGs that came out in 2023. This is just the ones that I had the most fun playing in 2023, or just the rule set that I think mechanically were the best that I got to look at in 2023. So what are your thoughts on the comments below? Do you have your own favorite RPGs of 2023? Do you have your own favorite RPG books you would like to see reviewed on this channel? Some sort of really esoteric RPG adventure that no one's ever heard of? Would love to find out about some obscure RPG adventure from Constantinople in 1982 that came out that you would love reviewed, as long as you know where one can obtain a copy of it. Sure, the weirder and more bizarre the better. Other than that, I want to thank Frank for participating in tonight's live stream. It was nice to have someone other than Crow. It was nice not having to eat Crow. It was nice not having to hear Crow cawing in my ear with all of his obnoxious dad jokes every single night. So, and we'll look forward to more regular content, even if it's video game related, on the streaming channel going forward. But other than that, it was a really great night with you all, and look forward to hopefully seeing some of you all again soon, unless anyone has any last-minute quick comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, or whatnot that they would like us to talk about here. Otherwise, it's all 2024, baby, yeah. This is my 2024 dance. This is exactly why I don't have a girlfriend. Because I dance like this. Yeah, man. Get that dancing going. my caffeine-induced insanity at the end of the live stream. Which, surprisingly, one of the reasons why it was hard not delving into video games was just the live stream ideas I had in the past just weren't that great. And so they just devolved. I would get like an idea out in 15 or 20 minutes that I'd hoped would last an hour, and therefore needed to create filler content, which was the RPG video game. So it's nice to have actually been able to hold a conversation relatively on topic and hopefully entertaining for almost 2 hours straight. Not bad for not having someone in the room to talk to directly, but I know it's almost 11 o'clock and I'm drinking a boatload of Monster, but it's so good. It's my drug of choice, man. Yeah. Just because we used to call our energy drinks crack in the Marines. Like, anyone remember Rippets? Like, they would hand them out for free by the caseload. How that company made money is beyond me. It was cheap. They tasted great. I enjoyed Rippets. I got addicted off of caffeine because of those damn things, though. And they were affectionately known as crack. Our crack by all active duty Marines in that time period. And the only reason why I drink this is just because it's a pain in the ass to get a hold of Rippets. Like, I, for even at one point, was having it shipped directly to my house. It was just that shipping it was more expensive than buying cans of Monster. And even though I prefer Rippets, it's just cheaper to get a hold of Monster in comparison, which is sad because Rippets were like $1 a pop at convenience stores, but it just you don't get them anywhere other than either the middle of nowhere or for a while. I mean, you'd have to go like deep inner city to get a hold of them, or the middle of nowhere. There just was not really an effective way, and then you couldn't get by the case either. It was just single cans. I miss Rippets. That'll be the one thing that I do once I become a millionaire, is just have a permanent subscription to Rippets being shipped to my house, I think. But in the interim, Monster is the way to go for the caffeine fix, so... And the lighting wasn't bad this day, too. I finally got the light to actually work again. I don't know why the ring light for a while just wouldn't turn on. I have this like faint spark, like you could see it was getting electricity, but wasn't actually lighting up the ring. After jiggling the USB a bit, got it to work again. So I've got 4 minutes to kill before we kill the stream, so... Is that random end of night ranting, just trying to hold it out so I could say that I streamed for 2 hours off of a non-video game subject. Embrace your anger. Or what was that scene from D&D? Not the WotC one, the good one. Even though it was a terrible film, it was much better than the WotC film, personally. Or give me every ounce of your anger. That one from Michael Irons. The film had Riff Raff in it. The Wayne's brother. It was just... that's what I'd like to see, is another film like the original D&D movie. The second D&D movie, by the way, sucked. It was some made-for-TV garbage. I was falling asleep. I woke up for the one and the only entertaining scene in the film. Thankfully, I got to watch that. But it was not worth the price of entry, seeing the second D&D movie. The third D&D movie, I don't think is actually because of trademark even available within the United States. It's, I think, filmed in Romania. It's in English, but It's definitely, if you can tell from the accent, filmed in some sort of Eastern European country. From the background actors, even though it suffered in budget, like it looked like a LARP village they were at rather than properly constructed sets for the film, it felt like the most genuine movie, especially compared to the second one, where they actually put effort in it and was just hampered by their lack of budget for the film, where it was this fallen paladin story as his father's murdered and he's now having to go through these issues of, does he enact revenge? Does he follow his god or not? It was a very intriguing and I thought well-developed plot idea. Just the execution was hampered by lack of budget. But the third D&D movie, I think, was by far, from a story perspective, the strongest, and had it had a good budget, would have been a very powerful and good, well-received movie. Yeah. But that's the third D&D movie, yeah. And then we got that crappy... My parents loved the WotC D&D film. I'm like, I've already seen this crap regurgitated to death out of Disney with Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvel movies. It's like, I've seen this film already. I don't need to see it again. Give me something new, please. I would like to see an original film idea, not the 50th reincarnation of the Disney movie formula. And then just everybody felt like they had a stick up their ass in the movie. The Druid woman just felt bland and like she had a stick up her ass and was like the dark, brooding environmentalist. Then the magician guy that was there just did not feel like... I think last name Smith. I don't think he's Will Smith's son, but it just felt bland. And I mean, he was the least offensive of the three backup characters because he didn't feel like he had a stick up his ass, just like he just wasn't a good actor, like he just really wasn't emoting. I didn't really feel like it was like that great a performance of him trying to go, oh, the self-doubt angle, and it just felt like a very formulaic presentation of his account. And then there was the paladin guy, which really came across as the personality-less stick-up-his-ass dude that was on par with Druid Woman. At least though the idea made a little bit more sense for him being stuck up and boring, but just having two characters that on screen of that type just it wasn't pleasurable to watch. And then just then rehashing Guardian or Disney formula for adventure movies number 3 for the 50th time was not that enjoyable personally. Give me a good B-roll movie personally, like Deathstalker 2. There we go. There's a good movie to watch for a fantasy. Now, there's the one I'd like to turn into an adventure sometime. Get Queen Kong coming out. Alrighty, so we've hit the 2-hour mark. And since no one commented on anything else, then I will say adieu, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu. Well, I just said adieu twice. You know what I mean. So I look forward to seeing you all again in this new year as we do RPG reviews, and hopefully I will do so without this fake accent, whatever the hell it is. But I'll see you all again later. May your dice always land in your favor, or at least be very entertaining in the results. And I will see you all next time as you live long and prosper. I also have it in my queue. I need to watch Lawnmower Man. I haven't gotten around to it. I need to do that as well. But so long, folks.